This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff.
Probably like the Christmas card.
Barn plus two.
I think Sam liked
The
Christmas.
barns are rocking.
Full barn plus two.
This is a very full barn.
This is the fullest barn we've ever had. Today is Tuesday, December 31st, and happy New Year's Eve to the loyal listeners.
Happy New Year.
Eve.
Eve.
As we were asked by one of Jim's children and Jordan's children, since she's with us as well, are we going to watch the ball drop? Alex, your response was?
If I can stay awake.
Is that awake, sober awake, or awake?
No,
drunk?
I'm dog sitting and I have to get back to my dad's house, so I can't be out traversing the town. So
Look at you all grown up.
There you go.
I know. I'm gonna go to the Nailers game and then probably come watch football and hang out with Lucy.
Good deal.
Lucy.
My
Are
Lucy.
you
Traveling to
coming to Columbus?
Columbus?
Yeah, no, my Lucy.
Yeah,
There
oh,
you
Lucy.
go.
The Lucy off.
A Lucy off. All right. In this week's episode, we're going to break down NFL Week 17, preview college football round two, and talk about some other football news of note, including any interesting bowl games that have occurred over the past weekish.
Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts.
Definitely talk about the Pop-Tarts. Maybe not the Pop-Tart Bowl, but the Pop-Tarts. 110%. We had a fantasy football champion crowned within the past week and a half after NFL Week 16 in the podcast lead. It involved one of our own. Unfortunately, that person, Nate, was not the champion. There's a
Good
champion
game,
with
Nate.
Nate's not catching any smoke in this either. That's the shit of this.
yeah.
No, even if I played my optimal lineup, I still would have lost, so it's fine.
But you're not still like you were coming out of this unscathed as second place. Like the target is on Muff.
Why is the target on Muff?
I don't know. Jordan, congratulations.
right.
Congratulations. You went for worst to first.
Thank you. Thank you.
You came through in the clutch. How is the Compton household holding up? And how much hate is being spewed from everyone in the household towards me?
So the Compton household's holding up just fine. I was supported and congratulated fairly and by my children and my husband.
And they did dirty work with things.
As far as your question about shade toward Muff, they have no idea I have shade towards Muff beyond like Muff tried to kick me out of the league and evidently Tessa.
Oh, I thought your children had no understanding.
Evidently Tessa knows. Zadie might know that. Zadie might have.
No, she gave him the bird.
Yeah. Tessa knows that I have a beef with Muff. So
Yeah,
on a
her
5-year-old
inventory
level,
full of-
she's met her mark.
So this wasn't about scissors then. This is about
Well,
true
I don't
hate.
know what the bird was about. That's on her. That's
Right.
true Tessa.
She came up to defend her mother's honor.
That literally came out of nowhere because we haven't talked about Muff in the fantasy league all day.
Tessa keeps track.
All day. Oh my God, guys, it's been all
Wow.
day.
That's the attention span of a 5-year-old, man.
That
Right.
5-year-old.
Yeah, that one in particular.
That 5-year-old holds grudges.
That's not on me then.
She's like the miniature version of Donald Trump.
Or Jim.
Okay, that's fair.
Oh, did you just equate Jim to
The same amount of
DJT?
breath holding that Tessa can have.
That's fair.
They're one. Tessa and Jim
She's
are
just,
cut
a,
from
she's
the
just a
same.
Columbus fan. That's all.
Tessa, Jim, DJT?
Yeah, that's fine. Dad, if you're listening, you're gonna have a stroke.
Yeah,
All right, Jordan, you have a victory speech prepared?
I don't have a victory speech prepared. All I have to say is good game, Nate. Fuck Muff.
Did
Don't
she
get me
not
out
say
of the
she had a
league.
victory speech prepared before we
She
started?
said it was
This
short.
is
How do you know
short and
about the
sweet. Remember,
speech?
short and sweet.
She did say it was going to be short. And
You
sweet.
don't want to thank the little people?
I think all my opponents, they played very well and fairly.
Uh-huh.
Even those that I lost to. Good game, good game.
Uh-huh.
Appreciate y'all having me on your league. I'm happy to win anytime. I'll be back
Anytime.
next year.
Anytime in
I'll
the
be back
future.
next year
You'll be back next year. You will be back next year.
because Muff's not going to kick me off.
There was a threat this year of some absentee ownership.
Is that all I gotta do to get you to clean the house? Just threaten you?
Is there dispute that there was absentee ownership, Jordan?
No, there's not dispute. I was very busy, Muff. I have a lot of other priorities.
As we were all alerted to very, very explicitly in your victory text message to the group.
Freaking
How is fantasy football not the top of your priority list?
How is it now? It is not. It's still not, and I still won. So it tells you
Babe,
that.
you put that up there pretty.
Well, let me tell you what I
You
did.
definitely changed your roster religiously.
I took care of my roster. It's like chickens. If you take care of your chickens, you get eggs. You take care of your roster, you get a win.
There you go. I like that.
You put that on the t-shirt.
Yeah, I feel like that's a
I only call attention, Jordan, after this congratulatory speech, and you get your flowers, as your husband would typically put this, that within your victory text message,
Yeah, you have to
there
remind me
was
what that said, Muff.
there was a lot of we's tossed
We,
out in that text message, as
yeah,
if
it
this
was
was
late.
a joint endeavor.
I can
Just between
wholeheartedly
you and your
attest
team.
to you because I know where you're going with this, Muff. You think I'm some kind of cheater, monkey cheater.
I'm just using your words. That's all
So
I'm
my
doing.
words, I clearly chose the wrong words because my husband firmly dug his heels in the sand when I was betwixt and between on how to rate my roster and pick my players and everything from start to finish. He goes, I'm not helping you. I said, really? He goes, yeah. I said, I just need to know this or that. He goes, not doing it. So now you know. I was frustrated.
So
That draft night was not a happy place.
Draft was not a happy place, but
So
it all
who is
worked
the
out.
we? I'm just curious who the
It's
we is
just
then if it's
me.
not your
It's
husband.
me, myself, and I.
When she speaks in we, she speaks about her and the kids.
That's probably true.
Were those the tiebreakers? Zadie, which
No,
player?
they wouldn't.
She just always speaks in we because it's the three of them.
Which
It's
Jim?
my
Chopped
new
liver?
habit.
Which
We went
Jim?
to Target. We bought Starbucks. It's the three
we
of them.
want Starbucks.
We talked to each of them about hating Muff and flipping him
Yes,
off.
exactly.
No, I think what it is, he asked me why it was so important that I talk to Muff.
Yeah.
And I said, because Muff tried to kick me off the podcast fantasy league, Zadie. Of course I have to talk to Muff. And she goes, oh, well, yeah, you gotta stick up for yourself because that's Zadie's thing, making sure everybody sticks up for themselves.
I like it.
Here I am.
Sticking up
Here
for
you are.
yourself.
So if there's absentee ownership in the future, this goes out to everybody in the league. There's the
And I'll own it.
threat of I didn't. This wasn't directed at you. It can be if you'd like it to be directed at everybody. If there's absentee ownership, then you have a year to ship
Your
up or ship out.
probation. Yep.
Shape up or ship out.
There you go.
Shape.
Probationary periods.
Shape.
So I would like to take some credit as well for you winning the fantasy football league because without my
Here
threat,
we go.
you would
You
probably
were
be
my
kicked out by now.
motivation, Muff.
I am your motivator. I'm your Jim Valvano.
You're the wind beneath her wing.
Don't give up. Don't ever, ever give up.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. Good game. Happy to be on the team.
We
Congratulations.
must now get back to the shop.
Enjoy. I'm going to go back to the Crayola shop downstairs.
Go back to them. We're gonna
Yep.
have a good time.
Bye.
Bye.
As always, thanks to everybody that's interacting with our content on the socials. Catch us on YouTube at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter. Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, rate, review, poke, like, tickle.
Bell.
Ding ding.
Get that bell on. Betting episodes winding down. Only so many left. Only so many opportunities, and there's somebody amidst the group who is making a run. Making a
It
run.
ain't me.
Alex is the one that's making a run.
Yes, he is.
So more to come. Limited games left. We have one more week in the NFL. Some bowl games and some college football games left, but it's gonna be down to the wire. Before we get into this week's episode, happy 49th birthday, Tiger Woods.
Hey, happy birthday.
Hey,
Yeah.
Tigger.
So when Tiger becomes 50, what does that mean?
Like the rest of us are also old.
Right.
Thank you, Dave.
I'm gonna call your shit out. I know this is a weird thing because my kid slipped you off. My wife just called you out. Why is his birthday okay to call out? But when he plays with his family, it's just like, man, whatever. Like, it was monumental last weekend.
We talked about it.
Yeah, but you didn't even put it in the notes. I did.
Oh, so now we have to take ownership of everything that goes in the notes?
I would have thought
put
that
nothing in.
like that would have been a big thing for you.
No.
Wait, is Muff wearing off on Jim on the golf world?
Yeah. Are you
I was
excited about watching golf, Jim?
yeah,
And
I
you know
was when
what?
I saw
He
him
did
and his
admit-
family play. Yes,
He did admit that if that was an all the time thing, he would be much.
I would watch it all the time. But his birthday is a thing of note for you.
Yeah, because he's a year away from 50. That's
He hugged his ex.
Pick it up,
Why
pick it
isn't
up,
that
pick it
in
up.
here?
do you want to celebrate that?
Yeah, yeah. His life is turning around.
Would never mind. I mean, is that what it takes, hugging your ex to turn things around?
No, no, absolutely not.
Okay. Just want to put that out there.
That's fair. Thank you.
Okay. In
You're
other
right.
news, not in the golf world, don't worry, Pirates fans, Pirates hams, we have the past, the present, and the future with us. Pirates have signed Andrew McCutchen back for a 1-year deal.
He just has some records to break.
Do you feel like this is going to give them like some type of season ticket boost?
No.
Why?
I don't know. I think kids will want to go see Kutch still, so I think it gives the
What
thing.
kids? And I ask that genuinely. What kids want to go see him?
I guess maybe kids is wrong, but like if you ask my little brothers about like they're 15 and 16. So if you ask them about Pirates baseball, probably the most notable player in their memory would be.
So he hits a certain demographic. We're not talking like third grade, fourth grade, though.
Well, no, if they weren't around for the original Kutch.
Right.
Pirates years,
Okay.
but I think they're still like I was saying like 13, 15. You know what I mean? That like
Yeah,
age.
that's fine. I get what you're saying now. I just thought like this is a reach for like the elementary kids, and I
No,
was like,
no, more for like kids that saw him play is that know him as good Kutch.
that's fine. I get it now.
I'm not
Sorry.
saying a good baseball player, but
And I guess that brings me to another topic for the Pirates. Like, what do they do to reach out to like the youth? Like, how do they become that
They
baseball
let the
team
kids
is-
run the bases after the home games on Sundays.
and like they chase the wiener?
Whoa.
Kobasa,
they have a
Yeah.
pierogi race.
pierogies,
Okay.
Pierogi race. We
Free
don't
T-shirts on
Friday.
Fridays.
bobbleheads,
So it's just cheap tickets and like reasons to come to your game, but like there's no like
fireworks,
star player that like I want to be like him, right?
No,
and Paul
not
Skeens.
without, not since Kutch. Well, yeah, Paul Skeens.
Oh, Alex, come on. Paul Skeens much bigger deal than Kutch.
I'm saying I didn't think about Paul Skeens. That's what I said. I mean, before like that was the last time I was excited about like someone to that level.
All right.
Paul Skeens and Neil Cruz, they've got some up and coming talent, which is always the Pirates' MO.
Yes,
But
exactly.
Cincinnati's kind of the same thing. Like
No, nope. Cincinnati, Joey Votto, they actually
oh
had,
yeah,
had
okay.
names in Cincinnati.
You're
Like
right. So it's a Pirates thing. My
names
fault.
into their late 20s and 30s, not just names in their first contract and they sell them off to the Yankees.
Okay, you're right. I'm sorry.
What's that other player for the Reds right now, Nate?
Mm.
Tall
Yeah.
tall shortstop. Hits
Ellie
bombs.
De
Bingo.
Cruz.
Bingo, Ellie De La Cruz. We'll see what happens. Before we get into week 17, rest in peace, Greg Gumbel.
Yeah. And you got Jimmy Carter. So who's next? You got one more, right?
If we're using that theory, I'm sure
Oh,
that
that theory's
there's
true.
sure somebody either has or will be. And we'll toss around that. No disagreements there.
But Greg Gumbel's a big one.
Greg Gumbel is a big one. All right, let's jump into NFL Week 17, where the NFL owned Christmas Day. First off, we're getting to the games. Any thoughts on the Netflix production?
Yes. Yes. And it may be a very isolated Jim household. I will tell you how it transpired for me. I clicked on the game on Netflix. I got about an hour before doing the things, building the presents, doing the things. I had it on mute. An hour goes by. The game should have started. I was like, maybe I'm missing something. And then I got sidetracked. And then it's 2 o'clock and I'm still watching the pregame stuff. And I'm going, something is wrong here. I had to fiddle with Netflix to get to the actual game. And it was only a minute left till halftime. Like it didn't kick itself over to the actual game. I don't know if that's my Netflix or if others had this issue, but I feel like that's a technical glitch on the Netflix.
No issues where I was watching it.
Okay.
I have
You know
some
what?
add.
Go
About
for it,
the
dear.
games.
Don't roll your eyes at me. Yeah, well, I had a patient today that was talking about it and he was unhappy that it was on Netflix, whatever. But did anyone know that it was actually streamed on like CBS too?
Yes, if you had the CBS app.
Okay, because he was a little angry that they didn't publicize that. They only publicized the Netflix thing. So I was just wondering if anyone else knew.
Funny you bring that up. I'm glad you did.
Thank you. Nate's not.
Do you know how many people got Netflix, the cheap version,
Just for that.
just for that? And apparently the cheap version did not play the game.
Ooh.
Yikes.
Interesting.
Also,
Big mad. People
last
big mad.
note, do you know how much fraud, and I will speak solely from my situation, I've had to deal with for this Netflix situation?
Fraud by way of
Using your debit card on the intranets to pay for it.
just from the Netflix subscription.
Just from the Netflix subscription. So, you're using your debit card, you're paying for it via the interwebs, whether it be on the pooter or your phone, and all of a sudden, your card's been screwed.
Just debit cards?
Debit cards, yep. So the thought here is that your phone has something in it or your pooter has something in it, and it picked that up.
Or that they're very, very intelligent cyber attackers who
Well,
were waiting.
Would have been a more mass thing if that was the case. It was not as big as that, Muff. It was more of a localized kind of thing. I don't know how to explain this to you, Muff. It would have been bigger numbers if it was a them waiting on the big Netflix situation. Like I would have been crushed today. Devastated. This was like
were some of these people also the ones that found out that they had the wrong Netflix subscription?
Thank you. Yes.
So they were mad times two.
Mm-hmm. These are your middle-aged folks, a little older, that needed help working the system.
Got it. They got.
They got.
Viewership wise, the 24.2 million average viewership for the Christmas Day games on Netflix versus NBA's 5.25 million average viewership.
Ooh, there's a lot to this.
That is a big,
And there was some beef.
big discrepancy.
Um,
NFL and how owns Christmas.
See, I think that's an early hot take.
Numbers don't lie, Jim. You know that, Mr. Banker.
That is
I don't disagree.
almost 5x viewership, Jim. Average viewership.
And what were they saying next year? It's going to be a triple header. I guess like Adam Silver and Roger Goodell. I don't remember who started it. There's some kind of like beef.
Yeah. Christmas Day is Thursday, which is an NFL day already.
Yeah. So now they're like, yeah, they'll have the 2 Christmas Day games and then also the regularly scheduled Thursday night game. And they were like, they're going to like drop them out and have like Philly, Dallas, Ravens, Steel, like just like some good
Load up the plate.
Yeah.
I question the numbers because I wonder how many watched for Beyonce. There was a lot of hype to that.
I wonder how many more would have watched if it was just on cable.
Yes.
I don't know how average viewership is calculated, but that's average viewership, not at peak.
I also question the NBA. Like, Do they own they owned this one? Yes. Will they own it in the future? I don't know.
I thought I saw something too that said Netflix said there's viewership for these games from over like 100 some different countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where Netflix is really
Yeah.
boosting them numbers.
But
Well,
China, big basketball fans.
the problem is I think NBA viewership in general is down.
Yes. See, and that was
Yes.
my other point I was going to get to.
Because it's a boring product.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're like it's not.
Yeah.
There aren't storylines. We talked about this a little bit last week. The lack of the storylines are like, oh, Bronny, and oh, LeBron's breaking another record. Something that has happened through a current star, which hasn't being yet to be billed as such, Victor Wembanyama, through his first 94 games, has more three-point field goals than Steph Curry and more blocks than Shaquille O'Neal. Wembanyama seems to be, as some pundits have said, a boring star, so he's not getting his shine. Plays in the San Antonio market, which we know can work, right? We could break Greg Popovich, Ginobili, Duncan, that whole group made it cool to play in San Antonio, but it doesn't seem to be getting the national attention that it could.
I think, and then this is not a political show. I get it. I think politics did not do the league well. And if of all the sports leagues, we were ones. We championed the NBA for a lot of their political responses. And I think the yo-yo or the rubber band effect of that, they're also feeling. Whereas the NFL took a very measured response to a lot of that political stuff from COVID and all of that. I think they're reaping the reward. And I think you can see that through the political lens as well. Like, look at Trump is back, and like the country did their own rubber band. And so I think the NBA's feeling that hurt.
Pendulum swings, pendulum swings. Did
Yeah,
anybody watch the Beyonce halftime show? I did
I
not.
did.
That's why
I did not. I hear it was magical.
I did. It's hard because isn't there like a month? There's like my sister's like in my ear chirping about the whole P Diddy involvement,
God.
Yeah.
and I like. But if I didn't know any of that, I'd be like, yeah, it was pretty cool. It was definitely a spectacle. I mean, it was full blown halftime.
So are you saying the P. Diddy stuff affected your viewers, like the way you viewed it?
Yeah.
Is
Well,
it
I mean,
because somebody was in your ear talking about it, or
well,
would
that
you,
affected
without
my
that, would you have been
viewership.
thinking about it?
That affected my viewership. But I think more like than I still it didn't change the way I felt about like the product she put out, but like as her as a person, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
So you think she's in on it? Do you think she was with the white parties?
I don't know the stuff my sister showed
Jim,
me.
she was at the white parties. Don't get it
But you can
twisted.
be at it, or you can be an organizer of it.
Yeah, there's a whole thing um with that I don't know. My sister
You're down the hole too now.
but
Everything I heard, I mean, she has an album coming out, or that recently came out, the Cowboy Carter album. So
That's old.
that was how old? Not that
people
old.
people were super mad about like they were very confused why she was wearing cowboy stuff.
Yeah.
They were like, "Wait, this isn't a Cowboys game," and a lot of people had to explain that that's the CD
There's an album.
CD, you're cute.
or album. I don't know.
That was out in March, Muff.
Well, that's what she was touting
I know.
all the way in December.
Which to me made it very awkward. That it like you're doing the old stuff because old in this medium. I mean, that's old.
Yeah, that was incredibly old in the market. So, yeah,
Brought her
obviously
daughter out. What I heard.
correct.
Yeah, her daughter came out Ivy Blue or Blue Sky. What's her name? Blue Ivy.
Blue Ivy.
Yeah,
Listen, Grandpa, get back on the porch.
Alex is trying to hold this conversation down as the only one that I think watched it.
Yeah,
I really
true.
did watch it, genuinely as someone who just like appreciates good performance, good like
Mhm.
stage and whatever. There were some creepy parts, but I always think that people make creepy choices. But outside of that, I mean, it was well done. It was well choreographed and coordinated, and they did some neat like elevation things. Like they lifted her up, and at the end of Texas Hold'em, she did the bang, and the bang fell down from the like a little banner. It was just I don't know. They did some cool things.
Yeah.
All right.
but I'm still a little leery about her as a person now.
Okay. All right. Let's get into football scores now. Talk about some of the games. First, in Christmas Day football, we had the Chiefs taking on the Steelers. The Chiefs whoop the Steelers 29 to 10. Chiefs lock up the number one seed in the AFC. After the game, Steelers defensive players specifically a little cryptic that one of their own is not playing within the system and being a team player.
Trouble in paradise.
Was some trouble in paradise.
Not okay, Yinzers. You guys, their defense should not be doing this.
On Monday, the media rounds did their thing, and it was shared that the issue was addressed by Mike Tomlin, and no player was being released by anybody involved to the media, and it had been handled in-house and it had been addressed. Many speculate that the player under scrutiny was Minka Fitzpatrick.
So are we saying that, like, when we say it was handled in house, it was don't talk to the media again, or was it really handled in house?
They said everything that was reported was that Mike Tomlin took a hold of the issue, had a team meeting, addressed the issue. There was discussion, and it was not to be spoken of again.
Okay. Again, my question remains: when he got a hold of the issue, are we saying, "Hey, don't talk to the media," or did he actually address the issue?
It was stated the issue was addressed.
I fucking hate dealing with you sometimes. What do you think he actually did?
I think they had a team meeting and people aired out their grievances. It was a airing of grievances, Jim, in the true holiday spirit.
Okay. I don't
Alex,
think that's on
Alex,
brand for him.
that is exactly on brand for Mike Tomlin, Jim.
Yeah.
To have an issue, have it handled in house, and it never be spoken of again. That
I
is
don't think he had
entirely
a
on
team
brand with Mike
meeting and let
Tomlin.
them all. I don't think he let them all bitch. I see him as a guy who roots it out himself. Like, I think he goes to the people who are bitching in the meeting, go, if knock that shit off, and then he gets the heads that are the problem and brings them into an office and irons that shit out himself. I don't see him having a kumbaya. Like, everybody, bring forth your grievances. I don't see him doing
I
that.
don't see that as a kumbaya meeting.
I'm gonna
Oh,
say
yeah, that's fair.
he's in Hard Knocks and find out.
I don't think this is going to come out in Hard Knocks either. I think this is one of those behind locked doors without any cameras there. But I could be proven wrong. We'll see. We will see. Other thoughts, Alex? How you feeling about the Steelers?
Not great. I'm a little stressed. Um, I'm not sure if the wheels are wobbling, and I just don't want to see them fall all the way off. So just want to keep it together until we get to the playoffs.
Alex, Weebles can wobble when they don't fall down. The
That's
wheels
what
will
I'm
be.
hoping for. I'm hoping the Weeples are just wobbling.
I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, thank you for. I needed that encouragement.
Profound insight. I like
We,
that.
we will
Weeples can
find.
wobble and not fall down.
We will find out. In the second game, Christmas Day, two duds on Christmas Day. The Ravens dominate the Texans 31 to 2. Lamar
Painful.
Jackson in this game becomes the leading rushing quarterback in NFL history, passing Michael Vick in 41 less games.
And way less dog charges.
Woof woof.
That game was terrible.
It was Christmas Day was a dud as far as the NFL, and they still dominated the viership.
The
That
Texans
says a
looked
lot.
so bad.
Yeah, how we feeling in Texans land, Jim?
Not great. Not great.
As a first year fan,
Oh, I feel good. I feel about as good as I did when I was a Chargers fan. Like, I feel better than that, I'll tell you the truth, because I don't feel like they're like selling the baby with the bathwater. You know what I mean? They feel like they still want it.
Now, Jim, what's going to happen if your former team plays your current team in the first round of the playoffs?
I'm excited for that.
there is a very good chance that it's either going to play the Chargers or the Steelers, which sets up great storylines for the podcast.
Love it.
Either way. Deontay Johnson's journey this year continues as he's claimed off waivers by the Texans. Good luck, Jim. You will now know the Deontay Johnson pain.
See, I
I'm
don't
in
think he will
class.
because I don't know if Deontay's ever going to see the field.
Yeah, that's true. If he does, he'll drop the ball
I take that back. He'll see the field. I don't know if he'll ever get to play on it with his friends.
with his friends.
It's a bold statement, Nate. Do you think they're friends?
I don't know.
Me either.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. In Thursday night football, the regular Thursday night Amazon Prime football, we had the Seahawks and the Bears played a big old snooze fest. Seahawks win 6-3.
Jeez.
Wow, this was worse than like a blowout. Like, at least
Especially when you have the
that's
Seahawks minus 3.5.
true.
It was bad. Uh,
God.
this was just another demonstration of the Bears as a team, as a program, just ineptitude at all levels.
Yeah. But I mean, doesn't say a lot for the Seahawks either.
That's what I'm saying. I think this speaks more to the Bears being awful than the Seahawks being good.
It was just a dumpster fire.
It was. Afterwards, I think this is a Christmas morning news break. There's discussion of Pete Carroll maybe eyeing up an opportunity with the Bears.
Mid game.
It was mid-game. I forgot
Mid
exactly.
game. Yep. Because that's where I even got like I was already pissed about the whole score situation. And then they're like Pete Carroll the Bears. And I was like, can we stop talking about that? Because like Ohio State loses to Oregon, Ryan Day needs a home.
Kevin?
Kevin's gonna bring him in.
Kevin will bring him in.
I don't even know if Kevin's that silly.
I don't know. Who can develop a quarterback better than Ryan Day?
Dave Canales.
Yeah.
Uh,
Pick any number of assistant coaches in the NFL.
I don't know. He speaks to the young. He's a youthful guy,
Aside from Jack Sawyer.
and he loves mental health stuff. And who's a better head case than Mr. Williams?
You believe that?
Oh yeah, yeah, I do.
All right. Moving into we had some Saturday football. Chargers Patriots. Chargers
Uh
manhandle the Patriots and clinch a playoff berth.
I've never felt more vindicated, and yet so angry than this game. I knew that the Chargers were going to smoke the Patriots because it's been said that Jimmy Harbaugh will beat the crap out of crappy teams. I said it on the betting show, and then he went and did it, and I was like, God, I hate Harbaugh. Like, I wanted to be wrong.
But not. But alas, you were not.
Yeah.
All right. Bengals take down the Broncos 30-24 as the Bengals stay alive in the playoff hunt. Although they did try to give this one away at the end of the game with some very, very poor clock management.
Mm-hmm.
As they scored a touchdown with a minute 20 left. Missed the extra point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, they made this extra point. And allowed the
Yeah.
Broncos, right, to come back. Part of that end of regulation clock management was that Chase Brown pulled up at the 1 yard line, suffered an injury, is questionable / probable for this upcoming week, and instead of the Bengals running out the clock, they score in the next play with a Joe Burrow rush. So Chase Brown got hurt for no reason.
Yes.
Joey B also took some hits. I know that's like our thing on this show, but like every time I watch that guy play, I'm just like, ask for a trade. Do something. Retire.
Retire.
Andrew
Like-
Luck style.
Where's
Yeah.
Birdie and Cap?
Yeah.
So if the Bengals find their way into the playoffs, Joey Burrow get any conversation about MVP?
No.
He
Zero.
should, but he won't, just because of the record.
I mean, how? How could you do that when you have like Lamar Jackson standing there?
Look at the numbers.
That's past statistics, all Joe Burrow, all day.
But like you're playing from the behind. Like just
But
because your
think
team
about where
sucks.
they were at the beginning of the year, and he brings them all the way back into the playoffs.
I don't really
Plus,
give a fuck.
leading the league in like every major passing category.
Because he has no choice.
Doesn't mean well I mean, it's like Cam Ward. It's like a Cam Ward
Uh,
Heisman run.
But like, who is the guy that got fired from the Giants? The quarterback.
Daniel
Daniel
Jones.
Jones.
Put him on the Bengals. I bet he would have a good statistical outcome.
Better than it was with Giants. I'm not going to say this
Like
level.
the guy at the helm of the Bengals has to perform. Like that's the way it's built. That doesn't make you the most valuable player. That just makes you the punching bag.
We will see. Bengals play the Steelers with potential playoff berth on the line.
The
Rams beat
Steelers are in though, right?
Steelers have
Yeah.
clinched a playoff berth. Yes.
So are they shutting it down? Or are they going to actually play?
They will know the Ravens play the early game on Saturday. The Steelers play the late game. They will know before their game starts if they're playing for anything.
Okay.
TBD. The Rams beat the Cardinals 13-9.
Yay.
Yeah.
Rams
Did not cover.
did Alex Rams did not cover. Bills, as we get into Sunday football, beat the Jets 40-14. Josh Allen makes what may be his final claim for MVP, and Aaron Rodgers opts out at the end of this game, giving Tyrod Taylor, Jim's favorite lungful quarterback, some time at the end of this game.
And why didn't Pat McAfee call him on that shit?
Who?
His boy, Aaron Rodgers.
Find out. I don't know if they're doing Aaron Rodgers Tuesday this week.
But like, why is that okay?
Because it was 40-0.
It would
So?
not. It's not abnormal that your starter goes out when you're down big. It's not abnormal. I'm not saying that that's right in all of the cases it happens. I'm saying this is not abnormal.
I don't think he should have opted out. Like, stay in the game. Fight for your team. Give your team like something. But whatever.
I'm just saying it's not abnormal. I'm not saying it makes it right or wrong. I'm just saying this is not the first time this has ever happened. It won't be the last. Jets reportedly are interested in interviewing Ron Rivera and Rex Ryan for their head coaching job
Of course they
after
are.
the season. May as well just add Pete Carroll to that one.
At least Pete Carroll's a winner.
Yeah, I don't understand why Ron Rivera.
Or Rex Ryan. What do you mean? Of the two?
Of the two, give me Rex Ryan. At least Rex won when he was there.
There is
The
a
man
history.
loves feet.
So that excludes him from being the coach.
Just don't let him near the kickers.
But that man's just a media hype. Like he's
Hey, when he was the coach there, he took Mark Sanchez to 2 AFC championship games. Let that sink in for a minute.
if you just want it to be about buzz in New York, then Aaron
I'm
Rodgers and
saying
Rex
those
Ryan
are the two guys they're bringing in. Give me Rex Ryan.
I don't want either of them.
Who do you want, Jim? And don't say Ryan Day.
No. No.
Ryan Day cannot be the answer for every head coaching position.
There's got to be more out there.
Oh, there are, and there will be.
You know who's
Especially
not going to
as-
get it? Bill Belichick. That ain't going
Well,
to happen.
There's still an opportunity, Jim.
He will never go back to the Jets.
As long as he opts out before the end of July, it's only a $1 million buyout.
I don't know, but there's got to be some young guy out there.
We will see. A lot could be happening in this playoff situation in the AFC, especially in some of these key positions. Raiders beat the Saints 25-10. The Giants
Fuck themselves for the draft.
by beating the Colts 45-33. Colts officially eliminated from playoff contention, which was much to do in the Twitter sphere post game on Sunday. Giants lose out on the number one pick for now. Right? There's still some situations where that can happen, correct?
If
Yeah.
these other sucky teams win next week.
Or they may be finding themselves trading. I don't know what they're going to trade at this point, but trading up. Pat McAfee calls out the Colts and their lack of professionalism, which has led to less than stellar play on the field.
I couldn't tell. I should phrase this carefully. There was a veiled minor shot at Ursay from my interpretation of the read.
I think so. I listened a little bit today in his follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
There is the I guess assumption that Jim Irsay still has and will for the foreseeable future the final say in all major decisions, which would include things like GM and head coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that that is an inaccurate statement, but I think the most of this was directed at head coach and GM and the players themselves. Like it doesn't matter who you put in those positions if there is not, well, I guess the coach probably more so if the if the air in the building is not to pay attention to the details, then this is the results that will continue to happen. That seemed to be the rant.
When you say the line, I was a season ticket holder, parentheses, not going to do it anymore. I find that to be a direct shot at ownership because Pat McAfee not being in the building will hurt ticket sales.
Correct.
I that I think was my only cringe moment because like Ursay's flown you places. Ursay supported you in a lot of different spots. If you have an issue with Ursay and the way he's doing business, I'm pretty sure relationship would warrant you going directly to him, not putting that veiled shot in a tweet.
And what we don't know is if there have been conversations that have happened. We don't
But
have
even
that answer.
then, I don't know that I would put that in a tweet.
Guess what it did do?
It
Created
started the
buzz.
conversation, absolutely. But like the
For good
buzz
or for
for
bad.
his show, like people
Yeah.
tuned into his show, he kind of made money on the backs of Jim Irsay there. Whether that was his intention or not, that's what happened for a guy that kind of helped him get to the dance. I was uncomfortable.
We will see. Right? The fact that you're talking about the Colts after they're eliminated and it's not about all of that necessarily, I don't think is the worst thing that could happen. Maybe,
Eh,
maybe not. I don't know. We will see how this plays out in the weeks and months to come in the Colts organization. The Eagles beat the Cowboys 41-7 as Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee get the win for the Eagles
there's
and
more ownership issues.
the Cowboys.
Good
Um,
grief.
Alex, would you like to talk about Kenny Pickett's attempted throw?
It was hilarious. I laughed so hard. It was like he threw, changed his mind, didn't want to fumble, so he's like, "Oh, gotta hold on to the ball. Oh, still kind of throwing motion. Oh," and just kind of fell down.
It wasn't too much stick him on his two gloves.
I didn't. That might have been it. It was interesting. It was cute.
It
Kind of like
was
the replacements there where he tries to clap his hands and they're stuck.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, oh. But the Eagles do get the win. Saquon Barkley needs a little over, I think it's 106, 110 yards to set the single season rushing record now. But there's not much, if anything, for the Eagles to play for. Do we think we will see Saquon Barkley on the field this week?
I don't think so, but God, it'd be a great story for him to do it against the Giants and then get pulled. I'm hoping for it.
Jim, you want to see him on the field trying to get this record?
I mean, I'm all for it all the time. So yes.
Alex?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. He deserves it.
Yeah, I want to see him get the record and then have all of but it's in a 17 game season because we're going to continue to hear that while these records are broken over the next 5 to 10 years.
That shit just pisses me off.
So we'll hear it. We'll continue to hear it. Moving on to Nate's NFL fandom. The Buccaneers beating the Panthers 48-14. Take it away, Nate.
One word explains this whole game.
Yeah.
Duck.
Duck. Is there t-shirts? Do you already have one?
No, but the Bucks did change their X profile picture to the duck wearing a Bucks jersey.
Explain for the uninitiated, Nate, the significance of duck.
So, not sure when it was during the game. I know it was second half. A wild duck flies onto the field and lands 5 yards away from the punt returner. And the camera gets so caught up zooming in on this duck that's just on the field during live ball action that when they cut back to live ball action, the Bucks had blocked the punt and returned it for a touchdown.
Bringing the duck for the good luck.
That's awesome. You just need to take.
But yeah, offensively they look very good. Mike Evans needs 85, 86 some odd yards to keep the streak alive of 1,000. He had 2 touchdowns. Baker didn't turn the ball over. That's what happens when good things happen. But yeah, they're in the driver's seat to potentially host a playoff game. So they should be able to do it against the Saints, but the Saints have had their number the past couple of years. So who knows in these divisional games?
Should be like a Colts Jaguars from a couple years ago if this went down.
Mm-hmm.
So all the luck to Nate's Bucks in Week 18. Jaguars 20, Titans 13. Raiders 19. Wait, why do we have 2 Jaguars games in here?
What?
Nate?
I don't know.
I don't know who played who. Who the Titans play? Was it Jaguars?
Yeah, because there was a thing on the Jumbotron before the game. They were showing the Jaguars mascot was boxing Will Levis.
That's it.
And apparently Will Levis won.
I did see that. That was funny when you sent that to us. Dolphins 20, the Browns 3. Tua doesn't play. Dolphins win. And they still somehow find themselves in the playoff hunt.
Jalen Waddle didn't play either, did he?
Jalen Waddle did not play. A lot of things have to happen for the Dolphins, but they are still alive. For the Browns, DTR has the worst interception to touchdown ratio in NFL history. He has 1 touchdown and 10 interceptions. Why is Jameis Winston not playing?
I don't know. What did he steal or scream this time?
I don't know. But I think the writing's on the wall. Jameis is out in Cleveland.
Which I don't understand that, but whatever.
He'll find his way somewhere. The Vikings beat the Packers 27-25. Look forward to next week's game against the Lions for the division crown, where it is possible that we may see a 3-loss team be a wild card team in the NFC.
That's crazy. I mean, that reminds me of like some good years, like in the AFC North. But even then, I don't think it was a 3-loss team.
Will be interesting when the Lions play the Vikings in NFL Week 18. Sunday Night Football, Falcons and the Commanders.
Bum, 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 bum.
First president to host Super Bowl champion at the White House, and it's the Steelers. Sorry.
What?
It just flashed up on TV that Jimmy Carter was the first president to ever host the Super Bowl winning champion team at the White House, and it was the Steelers. I just got distracted because I saw Jimmy Carter holding a terrible towel. So,
not current, Alex.
It's current. It happened right now.
The Commanders win 30-24 in overtime and clinch a playoff spot in Jaden Daniels' rookie campaign, while the Falcons seem to have a little bit of something to look forward to after Michael Penix Jr.'s first 2 starts.
Poor Kirk.
I know. I really wanted him to win a Lombardi trophy to put in that spot in his house. He talks about it.
I know. Kirk probably just looks at himself in the mirror and goes, "Frick!
Frick, I have hundreds of millions of dollars. Darn. Gosh." He's like Philip Rivers out there swearing.
Shoot.
Dang nabbit.
Zach Ertz got himself a payday in Sunday Night Football as he caught his 6th touchdown to trigger $250,000 bonus. Went over 600 receiving yards for the season to get another $250,000 bonus, and also has 60-plus receptions for another $250,000 bonus. Have a Sunday, Zach Ertz.
Drinks on him after the game.
Indeed. And in Monday Night Football, the Lions playing the 49ers. What the score is?
21-13 in favor of the Niners.
Oh, bother.
It is an offensive explosion on both sides of the sidelines tonight. Nobody can stop anybody. The only reason it's 13 is the Lions' first touchdown. The extra point was blocked.
Who has the ball right now? The Lions. So it's
Yes,
truly a back and forth at the moment.
yes, it
All
is.
right.
We have 5 possessions and 5 touchdowns.
Nice. All right. We have the NFL playoff picture coming into almost full focus now. In the AFC, we have the Chiefs, Bills, Steelers, Texans, Ravens, and Chargers with clinched berths, with the Bills and Ravens battling for the number 2 seed. It's a big deal, all said and done in there, I think. Teams left in the hunt for the 7th spot include the Broncos, the Bengals, and the Dolphins. Broncos are a win and in situation against the Chiefs, who are going to be putting out Carson Wentz, supposedly. If the Broncos lose and the Dolphins win against the Jets, the Dolphins are in. And if the Broncos and Dolphins both lose and the Bengals win against the Steelers, the Bengals are in. If all 3 lose, the Broncos get into the playoffs.
You know, I was talking to a coworker today, and for as hot as the Bengals have looked right now, do you think some of these top dog teams are like thinking to themselves, we do not want to see Joe Burrow in the playoffs right now? What do we have to do? Oh, this team, even though they're in our division, just has to win or whatever. Yeah, we'll do that. Let's rest some starters.
The Chiefs are already going to be resting starters. They have
Right.
nothing to play for.
Right. They have nothing to play for, so makes it a little bit easier potentially on the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're saying the same thing about the Jets. It's like, okay, does Aaron Rodgers and any other like big name start to even play? You had nothing to play for. It's like, or do you try to knock your division rival out of the playoffs?
Yeah. Do we think the Broncos end up getting this spot, Alex?
Yeah, probably. Uh, yeah, I think that.
Jim?
Yeah, probably.
Nate?
I do. I think the Broncos will beat the Chiefs, but I think it's going to be close.
I as well think the Broncos get this one, get into the playoffs, where we're going to have Bo Nix and Sean Payton making their way into the playoffs. Didn't expect that one coming at the beginning of the season. In the NFC, we have again 6 clinched spots: the Lions, Eagles, Vikings, Rams, Commanders, and Packers, with the Bucks and Falcons deciding the last playoff spot. Bucks are in a win and in situation.
No, they can still lose and get in.
But they are winning in.
Yeah, well, if they win, yeah, they're for sure in.
Right. Winning in. And the Falcons obviously need a Bucks loss and a win in their own right. Nate, we're rooting for you, bud.
Thank you.
We're rooting for you. So let's see if we can get all of the teams in, the Texans, the Steelers, and the Bucks, and it'll be a successful NFL season, at least everybody getting the playoffs.
That would be good. I'd
It'd
be
be
happy
fun.
with that. Place to start. We can't all 3 win Super Bowls, so.
We cannot. Uh, other NFL news, we have the Hall of Fame finalists for next year. 3 to 5 will be inducted. I don't know how they figure this out, but 3 to 5 will be inducted. Those finalists include Eric Allen at cornerback, Jared Allen at defensive end, Willie Anderson at tackle, Jari Evans at guard, Antonio Gates at tight end, Terry Holt, wide receiver, Luke Kuechly at linebacker, Eli Manning, Steve Smith Sr., Terrell Suggs, Fred Taylor, Adam Vinatieri, Reggie Wayne, Darren Woodson, and Marshall Yanda. Do we think that Adam Vinatieri gets the nod in year 1?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, to me, probably the top.
Him and Eli, right?
I was going to say him and Gates.
Yeah. Eli's always one of those ones where you're like, you have to because he won Super Bowls. But
How about Luke Kuechly?
I was going to say Kuechly would have been high on my list.
I don't think Kuechly gets in as a first year, but he'll get in.
Okay. Jared Allen?
I don't think he belongs.
You don't think Jared Allen belongs?
Not-
I forget how many great years he had. He had a couple good years.
I mean, given the other names on this list, it's not his time.
Okay.
I think
Steve,
you could go Gates, Kuechly, Manning, Vinatieri, and then I'm kind of torn for like if I was picking a fifth.
I think we get Vinatieri. It's tough to get Vinatieri and Reggie Wayne in. I think both are deserving. I think we see Eli Manning and Antonio Gates, and I think we have the four. That's my thoughts.
I don't know enough about some of these older guys, but I know Reggie Wayne's been on this list a couple times. I want to say Darren Woodson's been on this list a couple times.
What about Steve Smith Sr.? This isn't his first year, I don't think, right?
This might be one of his first years. He hasn't been out of the league that long.
Reason.
This might be his first year as a finalist, maybe not his first year eligible. We will see. Jim, anybody on there that you would like to see get in?
No, no. I mean, Bates and Manning are probably my two front runners for me.
Okay. All right. Bring us into college football, starting with the college football playoff quarterfinals starting today, New Year's Eve, 7:30 p.m. primetime football. Boise State taking on Penn State in the Fiesta Bowl.
Ah,
Thoughts going in, Muff?
I have expressed my thoughts. I think Penn State wins and covers at the time, 10.5. I don't know if it's still 10.5. And Penn State limits Ashton Genty, especially in the first half. And Boise State becomes one-dimensional. Penn State wins by 2+ touchdowns. Nate, your thoughts? Alex and Jim have already provided their thoughts in the betting show.
I mean, I don't know about 2+ touchdowns. I mean, I think they pull away late. I just think Penn State's depth is going to be a problem. I mean, yeah, Boise State's been a great story, but I mean, I don't think they're as battle tested in these big games as much as Penn State is. They're obviously not going to have like the big name talent and size and all that, but I think Boise State. I mean, they've done it before in the Fiesta Bowl. I just don't know if they had that magic run in them this year.
Your thoughts, Alex and Jim?
no.
I think they win. I think Penn State wins.
Right now on ESPN, it shows that they're an 11-point favorite.
It probably hasn't changed. It's probably just a matter of which sports book.
Now ours is 11.5.
Oh, it's raised. It's the smart money, or at least the bigger whale money, is on Penn State now. If it's moved that much.
I think they win. I don't know that they cover. I think your synopsis of Boise will end up being one-dimensional is probably true. I don't. I think they win. That's as far as I'm willing to go.
Fair enough. Next in New Year's Day, college football playoff action starting in 1 o'clock slate with the Peach Bowl. Texas taking on Arizona State. Texas not allowed to bring old Bevo in there.
Yes.
Are they going to take that personal?
I think the Longhorn is. Matthew McConaughey will be.
All right.
Horns all the way up. Horns all the way up. What are our thoughts on this game? How do we see this going? Cam Scatteraboo, Quinn Ewers, the whole nine. How many snaps does Arch Manning get? Take us through your thoughts, Alex.
I'm rooting for our Arizona State. That goes without being said. I do think that Texas is probably more of, like you were talking, a little bit battle tested team than Arizona State. Um, so if I had to pick one team to win, I'd pick Texas.
Okay, Jim.
I mean, I think Texas wins. I'd like to see Arizona open it up and just
State.
Arizona State, sorry. I'd like to see them just open it up and just go crazy. I don't know that they can match them offensively. Like I think their defense will just get picked apart. So you might as well just have a Big 12 game and just go shot for shot. But I think Texas ends up in the long run being able to sustain a lot more for 4 quarters than Arizona State can.
All right, Nate.
I echo the same thing. I think Texas's physicality is going to be too much in the long haul for Arizona State.
Yeah, I agree. I think Texas wins this game. I think we do see some raised draft stock for Cam Scadaboo, though, after this one.
Mhm.
I'm not saying he's got like a 250-yard game in him, but I think that people respect what he's done a little bit more after this game. In the Rose Bowl, there'll be early afternoon action on the West Coast, dinner time action for us here on the East Coast. We have Ohio State taking on Oregon. We will leave Jim's thoughts for last. Nate.
I mean, they couldn't have asked for better with it being a rematch game, a traditional Pac-12 versus Big Ten. It's just a shame that this game has to be a quarterfinal. Oh no, I'm really looking forward to this one. I kind of wish this was the night game, but I get it. It's the Rose Bowl game. It's not going to be the night game. A lot of hype about this one. They're both going. I think Ohio State's putting roses in the stripes of their helmets. Oregon, of course, has a brand new uniform for this game, courtesy of Nike. So I just hope this game lives up to the hype, and I think it will. Um, I think this might come down to who can make one or two splash plays on offense or who gets a big, costly turnover late. But I think this is going to be just as good, if not better, than the first go around.
All right, Alex.
I was gonna say not necessarily costly turnover, but just who can make the fewest mistakes. I think this is two really strong teams going against each other. I think what it's going to be is who messes up more versus who plays better.
Okay. I'm in agreement. I think this is going to be a great matchup. I think we're going to see a lot of back and forth in this. I think we see a lot of haymakers, and it's going to come down to the last 5 minutes. I'm not going to say the last possession, but the last 5 minutes of this game are going to decide who moves on to the semis. Jim.
I don't know. I don't know. I think the Columbus talk is optimistic. I think Ohio State, if that defense shows up and they have adjusted, I think that it could be just a mollywhopping. I think it could be uh-oh, like Oregon's back on their heels. I think that's wishful thinking. Um, Realistically, I think Ohio State by 7.
What are you most concerned about from Oregon's team, whether that's offensively or defensively?
I think their receivers versus Ohio State secondary. They're already talking in Columbus about making different switches, getting Denzel Burke in a different spot so he doesn't get picked apart again. I think the secondary versus the receiving core of Oregon is that first test right off the chute. And then my second fear is, will that defensive line actually go in there and make contact with Dylan Gabriel? And if that happens, it to me that's the ball game.
The pressure on Gabriel,
Yeah, I think
which
if
then leads to the other things.
yeah, I think if you get those two combinations, I don't think this is a game. I think this is going to be a shock to the system. But if they start picking apart that secondary, then I think you have that close game.
And in the nightcap, the Sugar Bowl, Notre Dame taking on Georgia. Notre Dame will be without star defensive lineman Riley Mills, who was injured during the IU game. Georgia obviously without Carson Beck, who is hurt and has already declared for the NFL draft. Alex, how are we feeling about this one?
I I don't know. I don't really want either team to win because I don't really like either team. Uh, I would not be surprised to see Notre Dame knock Georgia off here.
Yeah.
That without Carson Beck, I'm not saying that Georgia's team is all about Carson Beck because it's not. But I think when you have your star quarterback out, regardless of the team, it's going to be a hit. And I think Notre Dame's clicking right now, and I think that this is a dangerous spot for Georgia, and I think Notre Dame will come out on top here.
Right. Uh, I I think this is just going to be a fun game. I really do. I think it's back and forth. Notre Dame uh, being touted for their defense, going against a second string quarterback for Georgia, but the majority of the rest of that first string talent is still there. So I think Notre Dame's defense will be tested. Notre Dame's offense, especially Riley Leonard, come under a lot of scrutiny since their first round matchup. Not being able to throw the ball, relying on the run game. Is that going to be possible? Most think not against Georgia. So I think there's going to be a lot of fun to be had in this matchup. Jim.
I, like Alex, don't really want either team to win. But gun to my head, I'd like to see Notre Dame pull it off. Um, I can see it Notre Dame winning by a field goal.
Nate?
I think this is going to be a low scoring physical game. Georgia coming in with that not rookie, geez, freshman or whatever quarterback who's got half a game under his belt. Notre Dame's coming in with all this like momentum right now after the win against IU. So to me, this is the biggest game that Notre Dame's probably played in since Alabama kicked their ass in the national championship game. So I think you can maybe see Notre Dame pressing a little bit too much here, trying to make a statement. But I think this is just going to be a dogfight all the way to the end.
Okay. That wraps up the
Well,
quarterfinal
like
action.
to like what I want.
What I want.
The Boise versus Penn State game, either way, you get a story, right? Like whatever winner. The Ohio State Oregon game, either way, you get some sort of winner. The Notre Dame, the two games that like I have definitive I wants. Like if Arizona State comes out, that's a story. If Notre Dame comes out, that's a story. I think those are the matchups I like that I'm going to look at closely. I don't want Texas to win because I don't really give a shit what happens next. And like Georgia, I don't give a shit what happens next. I think for ratings purposes, that's that's the outcome for me. Like, do I want to see Ohio State versus Penn State in the final? Yep. Do I want to see Oregon versus Penn State in the final? Sure. If Boise upstates Penn State, do I want to see Boise go all the way? Yep. Do I want to see Arizona and Boise play against each other and Boise? Yeah, thank you. Arizona State beats Boise. Sure. But do I want to see Texas make it all the way and go against Georgia? Fuck no.
I think for me, it would be cool to see Penn State Notre Dame in the semis. I would just like that game. I would like that more than Penn State Georgia as like a traditional.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
As just like a traditional game, and how all that plays in. So those are
The
just my
way you
thoughts.
listed them, I had to think about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
if that was the outcome, yeah, that's a good story.
Yeah, I'm just talking about that next game in that side of the bracket.
Yeah, that's fun.
So
I don't want to see Georgia and Texas at the end. I just no.
realize we've put ourselves now into if Notre Dame wins, then Notre Dame gets like the pass for at least 2 or 3 more years to play an absolute shite schedule and get in.
I don't give them a pass for anything.
Wow, I think that's what will happen if Notre Dame wins this game.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter. We're still that good.
Yeah, that's true.
So I understand we've all set that up to be the conversation, but that's just the reality. I think if Notre Dame does this,
Yeah, that's true.
for good or for bad, that's the reality we're going to live in.
But I think we do the same thing to Texas.
For this year, remember Texas isn't always going to have the same schedule.
But I think we'll still be okay with them. Like, well, they're Texas, so they get ranked
in the SEC now.
Yeah, but Texas is not going to have this schedule every year. Just like
think...
India, this is Texas and Indiana not going to have the same schedule year every year where they're going to be able to play 10 or 11 games against middling to lower level opponents. I actually saw something recently, and I don't know if this is a real discussion, but thinking about rating wins and losses in college football the same way that basketball does, where they put teams in 4 quads. And that's how you kind of determine strength of victory, strength of schedule. It was like putting into this would be quad 1 wins would be a home win against anybody in the top 30. an away win against anybody in the top 40 that would qualify as a quad one win. I think is how it broke down. It was interesting to think of it in those terms.
I don't know what. First off, shut up. Stop talking to me about schedule, Penn State
I like
fan.
that.
Yeah, but he should be talking to us about schedule. Did you see this schedule next year for him?
We just drew the Indiana straw,
I mean, he's got Ohio State and Oregon.
which is two really tough games.
It's not about all left.
And
That's more than Indiana had this year.
That's it.
And Rich Rod.
Jim, isn't that exactly what? Who did Ohio State have this year? Penn State and Oregon.
And Michigan.
Do we put Michigan at that top echelon this year?
No.
I put them as a threat.
Michigan not that strong of a team this year, Jim.
Yeah,
Just because it's
still a
Michigan doesn't
threat.
mean they
You don't
automatically
get-
get you a
don't get point
pass.
for Michigan this year.
I mean, Villanova.
I mean, they got to be a threat to
FIU,
beat them, right?
they're a threat. See? Jesus.
Plus, it's your biggest rival, so yeah, it's got to be all in there.
You're a threat. You ain't got. God damn.
Yeah, Muff. Just because you don't claim Rutgers,
I don't. Never will. Sorry about it. Other thoughts on the college
And
football
by the way, you
playoff?
don't play Rich Rod next year. I forgot we're done.
It was
No, which is also stupid.
it was a 2-year deal.
Make that your rival.
They've got Oregon,
Listen, Jim, Michigan's
Iowa.
shopping around for new rivals.
They should.
Iowa, Ohio State, Indiana. You don't know. Indiana could be great. It could be undefeated again at that point.
Not doubtful that next year. I don't know who they play, but it's not going to be the same schedule it was this year.
I'm helping you.
Whatever.
Let's
Alex.
move on. Let's move on to Alex's boy.
Other college. No, we'll get there. Other college football bowl talk.
This piece of trash.
Cam
You-
Ward breaks
you
the
know-
touchdown pass record and then sits out the rest of the game while his team blows a lead and loses the game. I think we've already have some precursor to Jim's thoughts. So we'll start with you, Jim. Thoughts
How
on
are
Cam
you-
Ward doing what he did?
How are you just going to let him come at you like that and not even talk about Ohio State's schedule next year?
Because
Hey.
I'm not sitting here looking at this. Remember, guys, I'm not doing the research as we're talking because I'm trying to guide the show.
You play Penn State.
And
Penn State.
Michigan.
So
Okay.
exactly what Penn State has next year. 2 games of note. Got it.
Cam, yeah, I was just bringing that up. Okay. Cam
Thank you,
Ward,
Alex.
I didn't want him to hide under that umbrella. Cam Ward breaks a touchdown pass record. It's
I don't know why you're coming at me, man.
I'm just even's even.
I didn't come at
That
you
was
at all
coming at
yet
Ohio
today.
State.
Not
That
once. Not
That
once.
wasn't coming at you.
He doesn't
personally.
need a defender.
That was not coming at you personally. That was coming at Ohio State.
I don't know why you're coming at me. I didn't come at W yet.
Jim, talk about Cam Ward.
He's a piece of trash.
Because
Sits out the second half.
I mean,
Trash.
Alex, go ahead.
I'm just saying, beat by a Big 12 team.
What?
Iowa State beat Miami. Period.
Oh, I thought you were justifying him sitting out.
No.
Does anybody have any other thoughts on this aside from Cam Ward?
Miami.
We hate Cam Ward.
no,
He
Cam.
had a chance to come in and save the day in the last series.
No, I think this is also a black eye on Mario Cristobal.
Yeah.
Like you're going to let this guy come in and play at half just to get a record because he's played in college football for 6 years, and then it's like, oh well, yeah, you can kind of play. It's like, no, you're in or you're out.
Yep. Yep.
But
Tell it on the mountain.
is Iowa State beat Miami.
We know, buddy, but we're bitching about this idiot.
I'm just saying, I take
And
it
they
on the
martyred a
chin.
Pop Tart.
I take it on the chin all season about Big 12. I'm allowed to celebrate the victory.
How many victories have you had this bowl season?
More than the ACC.
Oh, indeed.
I don't think that's
Indeed.
like you got one. We're happy for you, but Cam Ward is trash.
All right, Nate, talk about the Pop Tarts, please.
I don't know all about it. It was just very entertaining. What did they do? They killed the strawberry Pop Tart in the pregame show.
Big 12's 4-2, by the way. Big 10's 4-3. In conference.
We're talking about Pop Tarts now, guys. Shut up.
I'm just saying the question was posed. I was answering the question.
Alex, I
The
just said shut up.
The Sunday Pop Tart ripped off its foil.
Yep. I think many of them did.
Yeah. There were sprinkles all over the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
The goalposts were wrapped in Pop Tart foil.
Yep.
Do you know who wasn't represented?
Unfrosted.
cinnamon brown sugar.
That's the best
Unfrosted.
one.
That's not unfrosted, dick.
No, unfrosted weren't represented either. That's what I said. I think the cinnamon and brown sugar is like the Werther's original of the Pop Tart world. It's like
What?
it's the old man Pop Tart.
The brown sugar cinnamon,
Yeah, it's like the old person Pop Tart.
it's literally the best fucking.
It is the
Why is it not in your pantry? You always getting frosted raspberry.
Mom buys me frosted raspberry.
Called out. Shots fired.
You,
Also,
you
I
haven't had a
haven't-
brown sugar cinnamon Pop Tart in this pantry in probably months.
I've been trying to not eat Pop Tarts.
Okay.
You boycotting Pop Tarts?
No, just brown sugar cinnamon. Jim,
I don't know.
is that your number one?
It was when I was not boycotting them like Sam, trying to new year, new me.
Okay. So are we all on Pop Tart boycotts?
No.
When you see them get mutilated on live TV like that, yeah.
They brought one back from the grave though, right? In the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's resurrected. We had the huge ass Pop Tart come out at the end that was edible, correct?
Yeah. And the whole team dismantled it.
It was
Right.
hellacious.
So if somebody said, and I am not this person, I just want to know everyone's thoughts. If somebody said my favorite Pop Tart is one of the unfrosted options,
I'd be all right with that. Let them live.
I'd assume they were cereal.
I don't know why you judge people.
It just depends on what flavor it is, because then I have to judge it against the frosted version.
Okay. Jim, what do you think about Cam Ward?
Piece of shit.
Why do you have to judge people? I just wanted everyone's thoughts. Darius Butler on the Pat McAfee show said he eats unfrosted Pop Tarts, and it was a whole thing. It was a Twitter stink. That's all I'm saying.
Sometimes the frosted is just too much sugar.
All right, moving into other bowl action. BYU beats Colorado.
Loved every fucking minute of this game.
So did Alex.
Yep.
Oh,
and
I think we know.
This was one of the Big 12's bowl losses, was getting beat by another Big 12 team.
This
Still
is one of
counts.
Alex.
Because it's gonna
Happy
happen. It's gonna
moment.
happen on January 1st too, Alex. All right, Alex. Tell us what you loved most about this game before we let Nate also sound
What
off.
Big Ten school is going to lose to another Big Ten or Big 12 school?
I said Big Ten versus Big Ten. Ohio State, Oregon.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
That's what I meant by that. Alex, go ahead. Tell us why you reveled in this, what you loved about it, what you hated about it.
I think my favorite thing about, honestly, is you guys coming so strong with the Colorado. Like, whoa, you're full of shit on the betting show. Like, BYU's not going to. And the fact that not only BYU beat them, BYU beat them bad. And BYU looked better. And BYU.
I would like you to go back and listen to that show.
Beat
Not
them
one time did I say anything about the fucking Big 12. Not once. I said,
You've talked shit on the Big 12 all season
motherfucker, I'm going to drive to
long.
fucking Bethany and beat your ass. Last fucking episode on the betting show, I did not say shit.
Okay, maybe one particular episode, Jim, but
He literally just said that I said BYU is going to lose, Big 12, blah, blah, blah. I didn't say shit about the Big 12 and BYU.
I don't think I said Big 12.
One fucking word.
Typically was talking about BYU.
Jim, you bet Colorado to cover.
I absolutely did. And my reasoning was
you thought Colorado was going to win.
My reasoning was Deion Sanders got insurance for his kids, so none of them were going to opt out. That is what I said. Didn't have anything to do with the Big 12. Not one word.
I think talking about Colorado and BYU means you were talking about the Big 12.
I was not. I didn't even realize the BYU was in the Big 12. I had no clue until he just brought this up.
Alex, continue with your thoughts.
Sorry. Okay. BYU goes in, stomps Colorado with Travis Hunter, with Shador Sanders, with Coach Prime.
We're not moving the fuck on. I am not moving the fuck on. I want to be clear that I was not attacking the Big 12 during the last episode.
During the last episode, you did not attack the Big 12.
Thank you. Carry on.
During almost every other fucking episode we've recorded.
Absolutely. And I will own that shit. But I did not last episode.
You did not, but you did definitely hardcore support Colorado.
I did support Colorado. And it was not in spite of you. I had reasoning.
even a little bit better when BYU beat them.
And that's understandable. But I
And
want you to know I did not make that pick because of you.
I just like that BYU beat them with their players. Whether they wanted to trot around and not put full effort is up for debate, but I don't care.
I'm not even going to bring that up.
They played.
They got beat because they got beat.
Jim, do you not let Alex talk ever?
No, I'm fucking mad. Making accusations.
Is this why Jordan never comes around on the podcast other than when she wins things?
Probably.
All right, Nate, what are your thoughts?
I just enjoyed it because of all the media hype that they were giving Colorado. Like they showed Dion walking out with his kids pregame, and they want to talk this, that, and the other. And then they post about, oh, look at this great touchdown they just scored, Shador to Travis Hunter. It's like you're still down 3 touchdowns in the second quarter. Like there's all this hype all over Colorado. Meanwhile, they don't talk shit about BYU and how good of a year they were having. Everything they were talking about was about Colorado. And I started going on a frenzy looking at Twitter, like all this stuff. And that just made me laugh. Like they were 22 or just lost by 22 points as a favorite. They were 0-6 versus the top 25, 2-9 in the past 2 years against Power 5 teams with at least a 500 record. It's like you talk all that smack, and then there's one where Shiloh's celebrating an interception or a tackle or something. You're down 30 points. Like, what are you showboating for?
Yeah, that shit was stupid.
Shiloh also celebrated an interception that was called back.
Exactly.
It's hilarious to me. So yeah, BYU beats Colorado, but there's a silver lining for Colorado, Alex. It's only the second 9-win season for Colorado in the past 2 decades. They have the Heisman Trophy winner along with other individual accolades. They're probably going to have 2 top 10 NFL draft
Well, who
picks.
puts this shit in the notes? Who put this shit in the notes?
So what you're saying, Muff, is they peaked.
They may have peaked. I'm not
Come
going
on,
to lie.
Alex, get him. Get him. He put all this shit to get you riled up.
These are also good things
I
for the
didn't
Big
put it in
12.
there.
These are good things for the Big 12, so
Who's poking you? Who's poking you right now?
I am living on the high of them losing.
Well, who's poking you right now?
I mean,
Muff,
Right.
stop.
Not your boy.
Down, boy.
listen, it's a good thing for the Big 12 to have a Heisman Trophy winner and 2 top 10 NFL draft picks, Alex. That's all I'm saying. It's a good
All
thing.
right, we've talked about Colorado for the last time this
Yeah.
season.
Get him. I agree with that.
Oh, no, we're going to talk about it more. Don't you worry.
I refuse to listen to any more Colorado talk.
You should. Good for you.
August 2025.
Stand up for yourself. I agree.
Thank you.
Don't let Jim play babyface on you here. He's the ultimate heel to the Big 12.
Where's Tessa? I need him to flip off Muff.
Now, moving on to other interesting news in sports.
Yeah, that.
Other interesting news in sports.
I'm so juiced up right now. Man.
What the hell was even that?
I have no idea. That.
Starting off in the golf world, since Jim's such a golf fan now.
I actually did read this. Man cut himself with a jar
What
on
man?
Christmas. Scotty Scheffler, #1 golfer in the world.
Has a puncture wound, the palm of his right hand, requires some basic surgery. I'm assuming surgery in this case means stitches.
Yeah,
I don't think so,
you might
right?
have a tendon. You have a lot of tendons pretty superficial in your hand. A lot
Mhm.
of people get hand lax, require a stitch or two to reapproximate that tendon.
Because if it was just stitches, he probably could have glued that.
No, you cannot do that. No,
Palm's
Why?
all in place.
not on the palm, first of all, because you're moving it back and forth so much. Stitches, it has to be a very superficial, or glue has to be very short, superficial cut for that to work.
Could
So-
you have done the internal stitches and still golfed?
Yeah, you could have done internal stitches probably. And if he went to surgery, he might have had that. The problem is that their level of strength, where that is, he probably done some external stitches, just let it heal up.
How long does that heal from that, Alex?
The skin will be healed in probably 2 weeks, and I'd say a month off is probably reasonable if you want to make sure it 100% heals correctly, because you know what I mean. You have to look at the long game. Like for you,
Oh, was that a pun? Because it's golf?
I didn't even think about
Hey.
that. I'm just so punny. I didn't even mean to. But yeah, I would say I bet it's reasonable. I would think to take a month off and let that heal up.
He's
for-
got a glove. Put some gauze in
I
there
don't
and hit
know.
that fucking ball.
About the tendons. If it was just a cut on his hand, I'd say 10 days and he'll be okay. The skin will heal. But I think it's probably, my guess is he had to have a tendon repair.
I think you should wrap it up, put a glove on it, and hammer that ball home.
Put a glove on it.
Jim says every day.
That's what she said.
Oh, jokes.
I mean, you walked into that one.
All right. Let's talk about pickleball.
Is pickleball in our other interesting?
Pickleball.
Pickleball's in here because pickleball has been reported that players brought in more than $30 million this past year, with the average pay being about $260,000, which is more than the WNBA's highest paid player in Jackie Young, who made $252,000 last year.
I have not watched one pickleball game on TV, but I watched a WNBA game. So how does that make sense?
It doesn't.
The people are into pickleball. Did you say it's bullshit, Alex?
Yeah, that's bullshit. That's my.
I'm just telling you. This was legit reporting that I found. So I just wanted to point it out there that apparently there's more money behind the pickleball crowd than there is the WNBA crowd at this point.
Do better, people.
Do better.
In basketball news, a few hours before Tennessee men's basketball played Middle Tennessee State last week, sophomore guard Cameron Carr left the program to enter the transfer portal. How do we feel about, we'll just say in basketball specifically, because especially in these winter sports that straddle the traditional fall and spring semesters, how do we feel about in-season transfer portals in basketball? Let's start there.
Does he have to sit out the rest of the year?
I do not believe so, Alex, because they
That
got
I
rid
have a
of all of
problem
that, I'm pretty sure.
No, I have a problem with that. You should not be allowed to switch teams in the middle of the year. If you want to leave that team, go for it, but you should not be allowed to play again for another team until the next year. Period.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Jim?
I don't give a fuck.
Jim's very consistent, and the transfer portal move teams does not matter to him.
What if it was a wrestler, Jim?
Don't care.
Really?
Coach can.
I don't disagree with that logic,
I feel like,
but
yeah.
it's also interesting. I
I
mean,
don't
Tennessee
think-
is the number one team in the nation right now. So you had a somebody who probably was not playing much, sophomore, leaves the program and is probably going to get attention if he's playing on the number one team in the nation, has had any minutes, if at all. But he's on that roster, which means he's probably going to end up somewhere, probably being lured away with some NIL money too, if I were to guess. What was that, Alex?
Part of me says I don't think a coach should be able to do that either.
We've
I
gone
think
over
you're out
that,
for
me
the
and
season,
you.
You're out for the season.
We've had that conversation.
I
I agree with that stance. If you want to take that stance, I'll go with you.
Yeah, I
be
think
consistent.
You start with the season. You start the season with the team. You end it with the team.
But I also think that, and this is where you guys are going to bust on me. I think using NIL deal to sway you away mid-season should not be allowed.
I agree.
Like, I don't like that one bit, but it's not my
I
call.
judge the fact that you're a little wishy-washy on it sometimes, but I'm just
Right.
I'm not even gonna judge you on that. I'm just gonna be happy that I agree with you on it.
Like, you can leave. Go ahead, leave. But you're leaving on your own accord, and we ain't paying you.
And what I don't know, right, about basketball is when their transfer portal obviously opens, right? They're not following what we think of as the football schedule. So I don't know enough about the basketball transfer portal dates of note to understand the ins and outs on that side. I just thought that was very interesting. Number one team in the nation loses a player in their program mid-season. That's just unique to me.
No,
What was that?
it's of note.
Yeah, of note. And lastly, in hockey, the NHL, Sidney Crosby becomes the Penguins franchise leader in assists. Nate, do we know who he passed?
Mario. Duh.
Is it Mario?
Yep.
Duh.
I mean, Jaromir Jagr
The guy
played a lot of years.
Yeah, but he team topped the last few years.
That's true.
And now he's country hopping, still playing somewhere.
Indeed he is. Alex, does it make you feel
the
good?
Yeah. I was happy with it, and the other team was pretty respectful of the moment. It was at an away game, so all around good things out of hockey.
Anything in Kraken watch, Jim?
They had a good comeback win 2 nights ago. Well, this is New Year's Eve, so 3 nights ago. Still not doing, great in the standings, but good hockey. Long season.
And an Ovechkin watch. He's 24 goals away from tying Wayne Gretzky's NHL record of 894 career NHL goals.
That's another one I didn't look into to see just how many games did it take
Gretzky.
Ovi to get this far versus Gretzky.
Well, he also, I mean, this is also in the scope of how many total points of Gretzky as well.
Yeah, because how often do you see Ovi just sitting around on the dot waiting to score?
Right. Different game, different time when Gretzky was playing. It's a lot of little things that go into that. But Gretzky, what if you take away his goals, he still has more points than everybody.
Probably.
I think that's always the stat that's touted is if you took away all of Wayne Gretzky's goals, he still is the all-time points leader.
Crazy.
Indeed. All right, that wraps up this week's episode of Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. Hope everybody enjoys their new year. Do we have any interesting New Year's goals? New Year's resolutions for next year? Everybody? Anybody?
No.
Are you gonna let Pop Tarts come back in your life?
Trying to get
Specifically the brown sugar cinnamon.
I think getting away from the Pop Tarts is probably more towards my goal.
Alex, is it drink more or less Busch Light?
I'm on right now. I'm happy with my pace. No,
Alex,
maintain my Bush Light consumption while also continuing to lose my beer belly. So I'll let you guys know how that functions.
you can keep that roller coaster in check.
Yeah. So probably up the healthy habits, maintain the bad habits, and go from there.
All right. Yeah, I can't say I have anything of note. I will say this past year it was to read more, and I accomplished that.
You did. Good job, Muff. I love reading.
You read significantly more than I do, Alex, but I increased my reading 3 or 4 fold.
Good job.
Any accomplish anybody wants to celebrate good things?
No, man.
Okay. Well, as we get into the new year, let's make sure that we keep this rocket going up, up, up and away to the moon, past the moon, to all the other planets. And then you can do that by telling a friend, making a friend,
Be
be
a
a
friend.
friend.